Oh, here we are for another installment of RJ Ogren, the artist. What a weird day and crazy. I may even be a minute early on my broadcast here, so I hope give you all a chance to join in. There's besides getting over being sick, Suzanne and I were both sick this week. Oh, hi, everybody's starting to join in already. Um, We just got approved this past week for a veterans loan because I'm a Vietnam vet, and we are putting an offer on a house today already. Well, that was fast, and it's warm in here. I've been running like crazy trying to get this ready, and then I got ready to start the video, and I realized because you can do a test first on Facebook, and that is you do it so only you put only me, so it wouldn't be public. And when I started this, about 30 seconds before I started, I looked down and it went, oh my God, it's still on only me. Nobody can see this. So I had to get that off and then start again and put public. So here we are. Now, yes, stretch dress. I think you all recognize and probably guessed what I was talking about. Uh, but I do have to tell you this. You know, most of you that I had the date wrong. I posted stuff on this today, and I said the 26th first, and then I went back and went, no, it's the 28th because I looked at the calendar and went, it's the 28th today. And then, of course, I started getting some really funny things coming back from all of you. I've lost my mind. Um, but I said there was a little calendar on my desk. Look what it is. Oh, it's Hank. But see, it's a small calendar, and August is right below May, and I looked down here at August, and anyway, I think I spent a half an hour trying to correct everything, and the jokes were flying. So that was quite funny. And let's see who's that. Oh, Sanya, hi, and I hope I'm saying that right. Uh, Kevin, Larry, wow, Lauren. So glad to have you all here again. Um, I'm not going to take too much time to talk about crazy things, but I do have to tell you about this. VA loan is different. And we don't have to do a down payment, but we have found this spectacular house, um, not far from where we are now in the Chicago area. And it's one that we would have to fix up, but it's a lot of room. It would be perfect for us. And so there's all these different things going back and forth because VA requires certain things to be in a house or to be ready when we move in. So in the middle of everything, in fact, just 5 minutes before I started broadcasting, our realtor, a good friend, called us back, give me more news. 20 minutes before that, our banker at our bank had called. He's going back and forth, and then there's an attorney involved, and we're like, hey, wow. But I think we sort of have it under control. We'll keep you posted. So in the middle of that, me getting the date wrong, I'm going to do one other thing, and um, I'm going to plug our books. For those of you who have not read our books, this is Together in a Dream. If you've just joined for the first time, I'm RJ Ogren. I should say that. Huh? I was a artist, audio animatronic artist at Walt Disney World in the 70s and into 1980. And Suzanne was in characters, and she was a monorail pilot. She was in entertainment management. And yes, that is not a real crocodile. Um, so that was our first book. And this one just came out this year, and that's the sequel to Together in a Dream. These are all available on Amazon or at Theme Park Press, which is our publisher. Um, there's a lot of touching stories and funny stories. You should read them. And then there's the one I wrote, which is pretty much Design of Fear. This is about working on the Haunted Mansion. There's a whole chapter in there about that. And then it's about all the haunted houses I've done over the years and all the things I learned how to do from the Haunted Mansion. And the last one is Suzanne's novel, which is a great read for everybody. It's been being called a modern day fairy tale. It takes place in um, Lexington, Virginia, and in England. Okay, I'm done plugging books. Are you still with me? Hi. Okay. Oh, Keith, hi. Tobias, how you doing, everybody? Now, I'm going to go ahead and start painting because, sadly, I'm going to probably make this a shorter episode because just before I came down here, Suzanne says, because now she's answering the phones if it rings, if they ring, she said, could you make it? And there you go. That's probably our realtor. So she's answering it upstairs, and our realtor, our banker, is going to be calling her on my cell phone, which is upstairs. So anyway, she said, could you make it a half hour today? I said, I'll try. So in fact, I'm going to start the clock now. Here we go. Okay. Um, and RJ starts off by dropping a brush. And, oh, very important. I don't know if I've shown this one before, but there's my mood bug for the day. This was my attempt to make things happen today with the house that we want to buy, and I think I've used this one before. I'm going to try to use a different mug every time I do one of these. Excuse me. Okay, now get my little thing of paint here and tell you what I've done. Okay, I have white in there. I've pre-mixed my colors. Um, I've used cerulean blue over here with some white. I've got black. I've got some gray. I've got a little bit of red. That's for uh, what do you call those flowers on her dress, I guess. And then I've got a little bit of light lavender and some dark lavender purple, actually purple. Okay, we're going to start with the white, and and I don't have my glasses on, so if I paint outside the lines, it's not my fault because I don't know where my glasses are right now. That's the kind of day it's been. Um, this painting, there's another one right behind me that is the same one. Um, but these are stretched around 2-inch wide stretcher frames. And so it's 54 inches high and 16 inches wide, which makes it weigh 6 pounds, which I discovered can make shipping a little expensive depending on where it's going in the country. Um, seems to be anywhere between 50 and $80 roughly. Okay, I've put some white here. I'm not going to go all the way. I've already put white on it before the broadcast here. And now I put more white in, and we're going to do a little shading using a little bit of the lavender over on this side here. And the white is still wet, so I'm going to blend it. Really? Talk like that. We're having meetings about our next play we're doing that Suzanne and our son Sean are directing, which is Hamlet, and that will be we'll start rehearsals in July, and I'm going to play the Ghost King. And I keep doing that; they won't let me do it. And also, I'm going to be a grave digger. Yeah. All right, now I'm painting those pencil lines that you see on there where I put on when I laid this out. And those are the inside the folds of the skirt. Now I'm going to actually take a little bit of actually this is not cerulean blue, this is cobalt blue with white. And put a little bit in here, right on that line. Get a little bit off of my brush, and then I'm going to blend it in. So over the years, after the first stretch room paintings were done by Mark Davis. I'm holding multiple brushes in my hand now. I have nowhere to set them down. Ah! So you have the originals done by Mark, and then they were in the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland for about 3 years, and then they would put new ones in. Now, back in the beginning, they used to have artists that would actually paint each of these on canvas, and of course, the canvas rolls up in the Haunted Mansion. It's like on a blind. It rolls up and down. Over a period of time that they can tear and wear out, they can get caught. Sometimes the machinery was off just a little bit, and so they would have people paint new ones. And the new ones, each time a different artist started working on them, they started looking slightly different, but generally pretty much the same. This one I'm painting is the version that is in the Haunted Mansion now. And just a little fun fact, you can't see her face here. Of course, I haven't painted her face yet. I'm using some more lavender on her skirt. Is that her right eye and left eye are off. Her right eye is crooked compared to the right eye, considerably so. So if you bring these images up on the internet and look at it closely, you'll see that her right eye is slanted up more at an angle, and it's kind of funny. I paint it like it is. I'm so tempted to correct it when I do it, though. It's like, that's wrong. That's just wrong. But I won't, because then it wouldn't be right. Okay, we'll take some more of the cobalt blue, put in here. And, oh, Ann from North Carolina, hi. More people are joining. Hi, everybody. Nice to have you with us. If you've just joined us, if you haven't been on with us before or with me before, I'm RJ Ogren, and I was an audio animatronic artist with Walt Disney World in the 70s. I won't say it again. You're going to say, stop saying that. We've heard it before. See, now I'm just putting more white on and I'm painting right over the pencil lines. So, yeah, I want to get the skirt done. So if we go past the half hour, that Susie said, get off of there. When I say Susie, if you don't know, that Suzanne is my wife, and of course we co-write Disney books together. Okay, I want that to come down to that fold. There we go. Actually, I like painting material in the folds, and it's like painting curtains on a painting too. When I was young, I thought it was really cool to do the American flag and do all the folds in the flag and all the highlights. Don't ask me why. I don't know why I like doing that. Okay. And I'm going to come back with, well, it's like a juggler trying to do this with the brushes here because I have nowhere to set them down today. It's because I had to do this really quick. If you've just joined in, People that were joined earlier heard that we're going through an offer on a house we want to get that would be perfect for us. Uh, and it's through a VA loan because I was um, in the service in Vietnam. We'll see what happens. So phone calls have been going back and forth like crazy today between our realtor, the other realtor, the sellers, our bank, um, VA loan specialists. It's crazy. This is the first time we've actually used my VA loan in all the years, and we've owned three other houses. Our first house we had, um, we bought in Miami, and that was actually when we thought we were going to stay there, and we were hoping to move up to Orlando to get on with Disney. And I was getting a teaching degree, so we thought, well, no, we'll stay here and I'll teach, and you know, try to think practical. Can't get on with Disney maybe. But after a year, we couldn't stand it anymore, so we put the house up for sale and moved to Orlando, and the rest is history as far as we're concerned. Um, aren't these pretty colors? Um, and what was funny is that first house in the 1 year we were in it, our daughter was, gosh, she was only like a year old when I started painting a mural in her bedroom, which was crazy because it exploded into a mural that went all the way around the room, and had perspective to it and had Disney characters from so many different movies, and it was it was just wild. And I even painted onto the door. I painted. I painted. I got roll up shades. I painted the shades so when they were down, the mural continued, and it was fun. I even built a tree, three-dimensional tree in one corner, and leaves up on the ceiling, and a tree. I put in a playhouse in the corner of the room, and that crazy mural actually uh, was one of the things that helped me get the job as an artist at Walt Disney World. That was one of the things I looked at, and um, my ability to. I'm back to white now. My ability to do all the Disney characters. Um, yes, we have pictures of that mural. Um, and when we went to sell the house, this is the funny part. The realtor says, you got to paint over that mural. Nobody's going to buy the house with the mural in it. You got to paint the walls white. It just drives me nuts. I just, no, I got to paint over that. Somebody doesn't want it, then they don't want it. Well, with the house went on the market, and we were 1 week in. We had finally our first person came to see the house. Realtor wasn't even with him. It was just this guy showed up, real nice guy, and he walks into the house and he goes, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, this is nice. He's looking around the rooms, and we go down the hall, and he gets to the last room on the left, which was our daughter's room. And he just stops dead in his tracks as he looks into the room, and and then he bolted. He ran out of the house. I went, what was that? And we get a call. Of course, we didn't have cell phones back then, so he had to go to a phone. Well, he went to a payphone right around the corner and called the realtor and made an offer on our house. She called up, couldn't believe it because she had told us it would take at least a year or two to sell the house. And I said, let me guess. He likes it because of the mural. She goes, yes. He has three little girls. And the minute he saw the mural, that's all he needed. So within just weeks later, we were packing up and moving to Orlando. Wow. So, yeah, we're moving right along here. Look at this. Across we go. Oh, I appreciate that, Ed. Thank you for your service. Yes. Ken Burns has a thing out about Vietnam, and I mentioned a thing on it about everybody should watch that. I will not watch it. I lived it. Um, I have severe post-traumatic stress. I'm being treated for it. I'm fine. VA is very good. Although when I got out of the service in '66, um, they wouldn't even admit that there was anything wrong with us mentally. They also wouldn't admit to the fact that we were affected by Agent Orange, which they constantly monitor my blood for any signs of that. Because I was in Da Nang a couple of times, which is the hottest spot in all of Vietnam for Agent Orange. Don't you want to know why? They, to build the Marine base at Da Nang, they came in with planes, flew over and sprayed the whole area with Agent Orange to defoliate. That's what Agent Orange was. It was a defoliant. It would kill all the foliage around, so you would have a clear zone, so you could see the enemy coming. And of course, we didn't know that the stuff was deadly. Every time you kick up the dirt, you were kicking up all this dust and everything and all the particles. Sad. Okay, enough about that. We're moving right across here. Hey! Because as soon as I get this side of her dress done, I will, other brush. See, I start on the fold. I put the color in right on the line, and then I blend it across. In her case, the light is coming from the left, so I want it to look like it's rolling into the seam. No, it's not a seam. If I say anything weird or crazy today, it's because I just got over being sick. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. Uh, Lavender. So now it's going to start getting darker as I go across the right side of her dress here because of the light coming from the left. Last night, our son was here with Suzanne and I, and we were discussing preliminary aspects of the play of Hamlet, which we'll be doing in September. And I designed a set, and it involves some stonework and some arches and stuff. Those are fun to paint. I paint weird things. Hi, Sherry. Painting the shadows. Yes, painting the shadows. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to put in actually more of this to darken this down some. before I do the shadows. You gave me a word. I can't think of the words today. Um, Now we go to the cobalt blue and put more of that in as it comes down. We'll blend it out. And then we can do the crease. Hey, crease. That's the other word. Woo. There we go. I don't know if you've noticed, I'm actually painting at an angle, if you haven't been on there with me before. So you're able to see what I'm painting, see me, and you can see some stuff behind me. You get tired of looking at this, look at that. Um, oh, back to the white. There we go. You're coming around the end of the dress. Your dress is hysterical. And I do working in acrylics. Obviously, I mix more. There's more of these colors I have in here. I have them in different little cups of color like this because I need to save them, obviously. Because if I make any mistake and I go on to the background, which has to be painted first, I can touch it up afterwards. Somebody just said, I thought you were perfect. No, no, not even close. No. My wife will tell you that. She's great. Uh-oh. That's either the realtor or the bank.
Call from Sarah Lynn.
Oh, that's Sarah. Sarah Glenn. Good
Call
friend.
from
Susie's got it. And now I'm making mistakes. Oh, okay. Let's get my act together here. It's a little dry. A little bit of water. Don't worry, I can fix it. I know what's going on now with the house we're made the offer on. If you've just joined us, we've got a approved for a VA loan, and we're trying to buy this house. So the phone keeps ringing, and all kinds of things are going on. Meanwhile, I'm painting away. Okay. Let's take that white out of there. This is definitely darker here. So I will put in a couple more. I'm going to come back later, well, probably tomorrow. No, wait a minute. Tomorrow's Saturday. I might take tomorrow off. I need time. I'll come in and do a little bit more on this, some of the shading. I've got most of it exactly where I want it to be until I did that. There we go. Okay. That's great. All right. For right now, we're going to put the brushes in there. And the next thing I'm going to do, if I can find the brush, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have some more coffee. See, my mug. Mood mug of the day and the week. Make things happen. Okay. I'm going to paint the band around the bottom here because this is all wet. It's still it's drying. That's what I like about acrylics. It dries pretty quick. So I'm going to start out with the light lavender and painting sideways. I keep expecting Suzanne to come down to my studio at any moment and say, "You need to get out there. There's too much stuff going on." And I know what they're doing too. It's because of the 3-day weekend we have coming up that they're trying to get everything agreed to. Okay, now I'm going to take the cobalt blue and put a little bit, blend it in. Over here. You're going to see me stretching these things because they're 54 inches high and 16 inches wide. But also I go 2 inches around the side, so I actually staple it on the back. This makes it nice for these stretch room paintings because then you don't even have to frame it. You can just hang it right up on the wall. Of course, it makes it difficult for me because then I have to paint around the corner. Her dress goes around the side. Okay. How's everybody? Um, Sherry, yeah, they do. They dry real quick, and trying to talk and paint at the same time, and some colors dry faster than others. So as I go across here, sometimes my brush will start to drag, obviously. But I do prefer it to oils, which I used to do. Now what I'm going to do here is, usually I throw in a highlight afterwards sometimes. I'm going to go ahead and, oh, no, my brush is too wet now. There we go. On to the next one. Okay. If I recall, there's a short one here. There's something I'll have to correct after. I'll have to fix that. Oh no. Yeah, this comes down this way. You made a mistake. Okay, it's a disclaimer. Any mistakes are not the fault of the artist. Uh, This is fun. My eyes are starting to cross. I set this up so quick today I didn't get my glasses. In fact, I don't know where they are right at the moment. Um, but I wear glasses and I have astigmatism. So right about now, my eyes are starting to cross. Oh, yeah, there we go. Fix this here real quick. There we go. Da, da, da. A little bit of white. So the great thing about the white is after this dries, I can come back in and put in some highlights, and I can do some a little more shading too. Yeah, that's good. All right, back to the band at the bottom. This actually curves across this way, across her lovely legs. Mark Davis, who I got to work with on numerous occasions. Um, Shut up. It's a timer. So we're already past a half hour, but so what? Keep going, right? Keep going. Keep going. um, but he was incredible at coming up with the conceptual art for the different attractions. And Alice Davis, who wrote the foreword for our first book, Together in a Dream, she and I have had numerous conversations about Mark and about Leota. They were very good, very close friends with the artist Leota, who, of course, all of us know as Madame Leota. And she said that, and of course, this has been published too, but to hear it from Alice is wonderful because she said that after Disneyland had opened, that yes, I just used my finger on that. Um, but he sent Mark Davis in to ride through all the rides and all the attractions in Disneyland, and come back and tell Walt what they needed. When he came back afterwards, he says, "There's no humor. You need humor." And he is the reason that things changed in the Jungle Cruise, and you have all that humor of the spiel and what's going on in there. Um, the the guys on the pole with the rhino trying to get to him and stuff like that. And of course, his humor comes out in the attractions he created, like the Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean and others. Let me see. Oh, Crystal. My son's art teacher told him to make his mistakes masterpieces. You're absolutely right. I'm guessing that is harder when replicating such a well-known piece. Yeah, it is. Every one of these, if I paint it a number of times, they're not exactly the same. Um, and again, at the mansion, they used to paint them each time, so they would have different artists, even the same artist doing them. There would be subtle differences all the time. And then um, when a new artist took over, it changed again just a little bit. Eventually, they were able to start putting these as prints on canvas, and then they didn't have to keep repainting them anymore. So now they have looked the same for many years. Yes, make your mistakes work for you. Absolutely, your art teacher is right. Um, that even works in theater. I learned from a veteran actor who I got to do Anastasia with years ago, and named Jack Russell. He was on Your Show of Shows with Sid Caesar and uh, uh, working with such people like Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner and everything. Um, and we were doing that Anastasia, and opening night we were backstage getting ready to go on, and Jack went out first on stage, and then I went up the stairs, came down the stairs on the stage, and we're talking to each other the whole time I'm coming down the stairs. Well, just before we got on that night, I told him I was always nervous about going up on my lines, making a mistake. And his words were, he says, I learned this years ago. He says, when you make a mistake, make it big. If no matter what, if you forget your lines, say anything. And I says, okay. And he says, well, what'll happen is it'll make it look like the other actor forgot his lines because you're going to surprise him when you do that. He says, but make it big. Make your mistake part of it. From that point on, I was never afraid to ad-lib anymore on stage. What made it really funny is that's the night I went up on my lines. Just as we came down the stairs, or I came down the stairs, I got to the very bottom, and suddenly I couldn't remember my next line. And I was the mad artist. I was wearing a cassock-looking type of outfit. I had a 45 pistol stuck in my belt, which is the same thing I actually carried in Vietnam. And so when I got to the bottom and I realized I didn't know what my next line was, there was a chair right there facing the audience, and I just put my one foot up on the chair and gestured real big with my arms, and I had been studying some Russian. And I said, Dobroruto, Tavarych, Yavol, out to the audience, real big. And I looked over at Jack, and he did one of these. And he was trying not to laugh. Eventually, he got the next line out, and it was very funny. And afterwards, he sees me backstage. He goes, that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Don't ever do that to me again. But that's theater. Make your mistakes big. And I've used that philosophy ever since. Look at that, we're coming around the end here. See, it's also in the time frame we have, it does make it difficult to sometimes get the details in that you want in a short space of time. There, here, there. Actually, this one gets quite dark. And now that we're coming around the side here, I'm going to add a little bit of purple. I'm still there. Okay. I'm still here. Are you still here? Thank you all for joining in. This is fun. Because Mark Davis did that with the attractions at Disneyland and with Walt, he went on to, of course, work on Imagineering on all the attractions, which was the reason that when I ended up at Disney World, Mark, by that time, instead of working on movies anymore, was working on creating new attractions and making sure the attractions we had were always perfect. So he would come out every so often, him and other people like Waithel Rogers and, of course, Leota. It was fun times. All right. Got it? Oh, don't put paint there. Our books are there. Oh, over here. See? Told you. Trying to be ready. Okay, I don't have my phone, so I don't know what time it is. I keep waiting for Susie to come down the stairs. Are you done? Let's see if this is dry. Sort of. Okay. Now we can start putting in some of the designs on her dress, which go into the folds. Let me do one that's right here. And no, I don't count them. Now we're coming out of the, well, out of, out of the fold around the edge here. Okay, bring these in a little bit more. And let's see, there should be one right about here. Now, if I wanted to be I do bend these with the creases in the cloth, but they're not exact. If I were doing something that wasn't, this is cartoonish. If this wasn't cartoonish, I would be much more exacting. But now I've got that on there, and I want to take a little bit lighter shade and put on parts of these. Don't go away. Getting some white. It's behind me. Hey. Okay. All right. Parts of it. And other parts will make darker. So I have a darker shade of green that I will put in there. Make it more interesting, that's for sure. Down into the folds. Okay. And then what happens after that? I need more coffee. Let me see who's asking a question while I'm getting coffee. Just shared your video. Oh, thank you. Thank you all for joining. This is so much fun all the time. Um, let's see. Oh, well, thank you, Magical Vacation. You shared it. Everybody out there, hello. And you're sharing it, and just as they come on, I'm drinking coffee. This is the whole video is RJ drinking coffee. I would eat a cookie. I have cookies here, but I won't do that. Now, in the middle of each of these is a red dot. So it's just a design. It's not really a um, it's not really a flower, is it? Yeah. Okay. Sort of. Now I've added a little bit of black to the to some of this red, just to give it a little dimension there. And that's what those will look like when I finish all of them. And I'm trying to find another brush. There we go. Her, the top part of her dress is in a nice purple, curves around here, very sharp. And then comes down to a point. Okay. And I'll leave a little bit of that there. That's her handle for the umbrella. Now I'm not. I'll do this. This will be the last thing I will do today because I keep expecting. Because if you've just joined in, I am a veteran of Vietnam, and we are in the process of making an offer on a house, and the phone call has been going back and forth, and my wonderful other half, Suzanne, and believe me, that is the wonderful half of the two of us. Uh, she, she's had to be ready to take all the phone calls and handle things. But so, yeah, I had to make sure I was still in frame. And I'm going to go to a smaller brush. And what I'm going to do on this part here, after I put this in right here, up, is use some black and put it on the right side here because, again, that is the shaded side. It's very dark up in there. And after this is dried, I'll come back in and put even more black into the darkest areas. Uh, but if we were to wait for it to dry so I could do that, we would be here for another 20 minutes. Uh, we should have a bit of a crease across here. A bit here and there. Oops, mistake. I should stop telling you when I make mistakes. I meant that to happen. Also, I've noticed that she has really she has gloves on her hands, but really funny things going on with the hands. But I'm not going to tell you what they are. All right, I'm going to stop there for today, and oh, paint. Um, and I better wipe my hands off first. Thank you all again for joining me. Next week I will be back on another painting, uh, which will either be the one on Bay Lake, and should be finishing that one up. I have another one to start, so I'm not sure exactly yet which one I'll be working on, but it'll be something totally different. So all of you have a wonderful, safe holiday weekend. I want to see all of you back here in good health and happy next week. I should be on again next Friday at 4 o'clock. And if these paintings are still around, maybe I'll show you a picture of the finished one. And real quick, I'll look. Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, you're all so kind. Um, and I look forward to it. And oh, by the way, the Donald Duck painting, you probably saw it posted this past week. That was a surprise for Angela Steppen. And you saw the pictures. She was totally taken aback. I will tell you this first before I go off. We set it up. Tim, her husband, had set it up. They were coming to Chicago to visit friends and watch some baseball. He's originally from Chicago. And so when they came through last Saturday morning, she didn't know, she thought they were at the house of where they were going to be with the other friend because she wasn't familiar with the area. And so we, we opened the door and she just kind of looked at me like, I know this face. And I went, hi, Angela. I'm R.J. Ogren. And she's like, what is going on? Well, we were making her believe that that was a surprise, that she was getting to meet Suzanne and I, and we gave them a tour of the house, and we came down to the studio last, and she was seeing everything in the studio. And Tim, at one point, he was videoing everything. He says, "So, what do you think?" And she goes, "I still don't trust you." And she smiled. And I says, "Well, there's a good reason you shouldn't." And I had the painting on the easel covered with a black suede cloth, and I flipped it up and I said, "Because this is for you." And I had put their names carved into the tree. The look on her face was priceless, and we've made two very good friends. But anyway, all of you, here's to all of you, all of the dreamers, all of the Disney dreamers. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.